On this episode of China Uncensored, could I interest you in a set of beautiful, leather-bound, pre-censored encyclopedias? Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. The Chinese Communist Party has a big problem on its hands. No, I'm not talking about North Korea. Or a faltering economy either. Or even children spending too much time on their phones. I'm talking about Wikipedia. Wikipedia simply refuses to take into consideration the unique societal conditions of Chinese society. And by that I mean they refuse to censor content. Wikipedia co-founder Jimmy Wales has said he would rather have no Wikipedia in China than comply with any form of censorship. Well, Jimmy, wishes do come true. Because when pesky Western companies refuse to comply with draconian censorship demands, what's a totalitarian regime gonna do? Simply create their own knockoff. The Chinese internet is like a bizarro version of the global internet, because the Chinese Communist Party has certain things that they would rather Chinese people not know about. Many of the websites that we're used to seeing on the rest of the internet are blocked, like Google, Facebook, and Twitter. Don't worry, China has its own censored versions of these. And at long last, the Chinese regime is coming out with its own version of Wikipedia, creatively named Chinese Encyclopedia, and will roll out sometime next year. You see, the problem with Wikipedia is that its content is generated by users themselves. People around the world create, edit, and re-edit the articles, so people can post all kinds of false information about various squares and massacres that may or may not have happened inside of them. The Chinese Encyclopedia gets around this problem because the government directly employed more than 20,000 authors from universities and research institutes. So you can be sure the Chinese Encyclopedia won't even need to be censored, because it comes pre-censored. Like those bags of spinach at the supermarket that are pre-washed. Wait, what's that, Shelley? I still need to wash those? Really? Ugh. Anyway, the editor-in-chief of the pre-censored encyclopedia, Yang Muzhi, said in a meeting at the Chinese Academy of Sciences that the Chinese Encyclopedia is not a book, but a great wall of culture. Yes, a great wall of culture. That will keep out the angry hordes of information. So why is China putting so many resources into the Chinese Encyclopedia? Yang Muzhi told the meeting China was under international pressure and felt an urgent need to produce its own encyclopedia to guide and lead the public and society. Because if there's anything the international community has been begging China to do, it's do a better job guiding and leading the Chinese public and society by censoring them. Wikipedia, which turned 16 this year, don't worry, you're not old, has never had it easy in China. The Chinese version was launched in 2004 and right away resulted in flame wars. Is Taiwan a country? What's the nationality of someone in Hong Kong? Is the Dalai Lama the Antichrist? Users in mainland China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan all had very different views. And this was the problem. People were actually using internet forums to broaden their horizons. One 17-year-old Wikipedia editor from Shanghai told the New York Times, "I was furious when I came across terms like Taiwan and the Republic of China. But after more interactions, I understood how people in Taiwan think, and I became much more tolerant." Which is exactly what he was not supposed to do! Mainland Chinese kids these days. Mainland users have had intermittent access to Wikipedia. But the Great Firewall of China blocks users' access to topics like the Dalai Lama and Falun Gong. Then there was the time in 2015 Jimmy Wales went to China's World Internet Conference. Yes, the Chinese regime holds a World Internet Conference despite having the world's least free internet, which would be like me hosting the State Administration of Press, Publication, Radio, Film, and Television's annual state-run media correspondence dinner. Xi Jinping really killed it this year with his long, drawn-out monologue. In the speech at the Internet Conference, Jimmy Wales said that thanks to technological changes in the future, the idea that any one government can control the flow of information of what people know in their territory will become completely antiquated and no longer possible. But then the Chinese media fixed his quote to be pro-Chinese government surveillance. Yes, that is actually what they changed it to. You know, China has one of the longest continuous histories in human civilization, partially because Chinese people have always revered their history and culture. Some recent exceptions may apply. The first edition of the Chinese Encyclopedia was started in the late 70s by a group of idealistic Chinese scholars. Many of them had been persecuted during the Cultural Revolution and wanted to enlighten the people with knowledge and modern ideas and avoid similar catastrophes in the future. Hundreds of scientists, historians, artists, and writers worked on it, and in 1993, the first 74-volume edition was released. But unfortunately for those involved, their efforts to enlighten people with knowledge came with a few hiccups. The entire thing was funded by the Chinese government, which resulted in omissions and distortions for political purposes. So when the head of the Wikipedia Foundation said, "If governments try to get us to take information down, we don't. We have very strong encryption technology that means that if you choose to block Wikimedia sites, you block all of it or none of it. We found most places in the world choose none." I don't think they were really ready for China. What do you think about China's state-sponsored encyclopedia? Leave your comments below. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Chappell. See you next time.